Michael Jackson was, and it's going to be hard for me to say this in a few seconds, and it would take me hours to tell you the stories to back it up. He is the most profoundly astonishing person I've ever met in my life. He was capable of looking at a fingertip. He was capable of looking at the tiniest of things. He was capable of looking at a fly. And he was capable of seeing the infinite in that. And he was profoundly good because his generosity to his fellow human beings and his sense of obligation on their part was almost boundless. He felt he had been given an astonishing gift by God, and that was that ability to see absolutely stunning things in almost anything he looked at. And he felt it was his obligation to give that experience to you, to me, to everybody he possibly could on this planet, and he put his entire life on the line to fulfill that obligation. He was, again, generalizations don't capture it. He was beyond anything I'd ever imagined in my life. And remember, I'd worked with Bette Midler and Bob Marley and AC/DC, Aerosmith, and Kiss and Queen, but on the more positive side, Billy Joel and Paul Simon and all kinds of amazing people. And if you'd stacked 5 of those people end to end, you wouldn't have gotten one Michael Jackson.
I know for absolute certain that this is a man who could never have done anything that would be harmful to anyone. He was very much of a child himself. He was as kind and decent and spiritual a human being as I'd ever had the pleasure of spending any time with. I dedicated one of my books to him. When you look at his enormous talent and the commitment that he had to ending world hunger, for example, he personally was responsible for cutting the number of people starving to death on this planet in half back in the 1980s and 1990s with We Are the World. It was totally, and he took no money for it at all. This was a beautiful, beautiful human being, someone who will go down in history as one of the greatest entertainers ever. But more than a great entertainer, this was a great man. My time with him in those 5 days back in 1991 solidified for me that this was a transcendent being who had not only enormous talent but a heart as big as the sky.